Good morning, and welcome to another revolting episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now here's your pugnacious and bellicose host, Voice of Doom. Thank you, Mr. Announcer. I always like to do the diatribes in the morning because I watch the news for an hour or two and I get so much information and so much material and so much to make me angry to start the day out. And the more I see everything fall apart and people reporting on it as if it won't affect them, the more I feel the need to do a little recapitulation, as they say, if you're composing a sonata allegro. You have your exposition, you have your development, and then you have your recapitulation. I gave you the introduction, I gave you the exposition, I gave you the development. I've told you what's happened, what's happening. Everybody sees what's happening, they want to ignore it. Okay, hope for the best. But now it's time for a recapitulation, and in order to do that, first I want to talk about a certain thing. It's not impunicity, it is kind of a duplicity in an innocent sort of way. It is being of two minds on one subject, or always having a caveat with each subject, because otherwise you can't talk about it. So let me just go down a bit the line, and I'll tell you what I mean. We hate mandates, but we encourage people to get vaccines. They always say, but we encourage, and we believe in, but we don't believe in mandates. So, two different. We love immigrants and we love immigration, but not open borders. You always talk about how the border is in chaos, but then you also have to add, but we love immigrants. Otherwise you're a racist. Everybody's got to put their little caveats in. We believe in the electoral system, but we don't trust them. Depending on who wins and what side doesn't trust who. Now you watch. There won't be an election in 22, but if there is, by some off chance, if the political touts are right and history holds true, then the Democrats should lose the Congress. And I think it will be a matter of 2 or 3 milliseconds before they start lambasting the electoral system and saying how corrupt it is. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, Democrats will complain about their own cheating not working, and they did it in 2000. If you go back in history, you'll see they did exactly that. They cheated, and then they complained because the cheating backfired on them, and they had the audacity to complain about it. And the rest is history. We don't look at color, but look at color. That's the government. That's people in general, I don't see color when I talk to someone or if I see someone. Well, then you're not looking with your eyes, because when I look at someone, I see what they look like. Not that I give a crap, but I don't see color. Yeah, you do. Of course you do. We believe in democracy, but we decry government. Well, the government is put together by a democratic so-called system. And from what I've seen lately, the government is not a problem-solving organization. And it's not an organization where one side will ever admit they ever did anything wrong. Both sides won't. So, by that logic, we should be living in a utopia, and I mean a real utopia. I think everybody should be getting along, and everybody should be living up to their full potential, and there should be no pandemics, and there should be no supply chain problems. because no politician has ever done anything wrong and owned up to it that I've ever seen in my lifetime. The only time they own up to it is if they're actually sentenced to prison, and then by that time it's like, okay, I own up to it. Can I get a lighter sentence? Wear masks but hate masks. Now, this mask thing is getting on my nerves because, I mean, I like the mask, but I don't want to be told to wear the mask. I like the option because then I can just walk around like this if I want to and, be a little incognito, I could do whatever I want under here. But I hate when I see signs saying masks required to enter this building because I look inside the building and half the people aren't wearing them. And I just hate being told that I have to do something. It's just irritating. Now, the mask. I don't know what they're thinking as far as, okay, everybody's should have been vaccinated by now. And yet they still have to wear a mask. Now, who's giving what to who exactly? Because maybe they should just say only unvaccinated should wear a mask, and then everybody can know right off the bat who the culprits are. And then we can destroy them, and we can hound them, and we can harass them into capitulating because they're wearing masks and everybody knows. Now I see masks and I see half masks. I see masks off the nose. I see people taking masks off to speak in the Congress, and I see half of them wearing masks and half not. Now I'm wondering about the virus, and I'm wondering if it has the wherewithal and the distinction, the ability to distinguish who's wearing masks and who's not, and where they should fly around, where they're allowed to be and where they're not allowed to be. Because if we can just make sure that the viruses are under control, and if you're wearing a mask and then you take it off, then they fly away. And then you put it back on again, and then they can. So the mask thing, and everybody's putting up with it. And they will continue to put up with it. And I'm telling you right now, there won't be an election, but if there is, and the Republicans take 60%, 60 seats in the Senate, and they take a huge amount in the legislature. We're talking like 2-to-1 margin where they have a supermajority in both houses. I guarantee you nothing will change. The Republicans will not do one thing. And the last thing they would do is even think about getting rid of Petri dish. Because Republicans are not vindictive. We do not answer in kind. Just because the last president, and I mean the final president, can be impeached every 10 minutes over something stupid like a phone call. We can't impeach this this occupier, this protoplasm. We cannot impeach him just because he just totally fouled up the world. Kabul is in darkness right now, okay? I don't think Kabul would be in darkness if we had done it correctly. They're in darkness because they're blowing up the infrastructure. It's scorched earth before the fact. Now, there's some multitude of charges to be levied against Petri dish. It would take a 10th grader who's studying law in his spare time to come up with a litany of sins and charges and impeachable offenses. I mean, it wouldn't be hard. But you have to acknowledge that those things exist. You have to say yes. I mean, even though we see that this family, Petri dish, has been corrupt for decades, even though there's proof in front of our eyes, we're not going to do anything about it because we're just not going to acknowledge that we see it. So to recapitulate, America's always thought it was exempt. I said that at the beginning. We've always thought that we're safe because we're America, and we always know, and we're always on top of it. Oh, one more dichotomy is we must decimate the military, but we need more funding. Now, they want to do a $5 trillion infrastructure thing and say that it's not going to add a cent to the deficit or the debt. The debt's going to start going down when they get this $5 trillion. It's going to go backwards. It's going to go, where is it now, 25? I don't know where it's at. Could be at 30 trillion. I don't know. It's just going to keep going up. It's never gone down, and it always goes up faster. But, yeah, it's going to start going the other way. It's going to stop slowly and start going this way, the debt, because of this infrastructure bill. Now, they want to, many people, especially in the right side, want to increase military spending because I guess China's ahead of us now. And that's anathema to what used to be the United States. We've always been ahead. Ever since the end of World War II, we have dominated everything. And when they start to get ahead, then we pull out all the stops and we jump over their place in monopoly or whatever they are. If they send up a Sputnik, then we send up a trip to the moon and have people walk on the moon just to prove to the world, yeah, America, number one. Space race, well, they're talking Space Force, yes, trillions of dollars into that too, because we can just make money out of whole cloth. As long as we can do that, I mean, we should just make $5 quadrillion and take care of all the problems in the world. Increase military spending, that's all well and good, and they always say, there was always MAD, and now we might have another MAD, but they're going, yeah, they got a hypersonic missile, and it could carry a warhead. Well, they won't use it because then we would retaliate. Okay. You don't know this Xi Jinping. If you would go back to my other things, you would see that I don't know if this guy's that concerned with whether or not there's retaliation or not. Now, America's always been exempt. People are complacent to the point of being, well, they've always assumed that we always come out of it because we always have. We've been in recessions, we've been in depressions, we've been in oil shortages, we've been in wars, we've been attacked, and we've always bounced back, but after a while the ball is flat, and we flatten the ball, because we haven't tried to solve problems, because every single thing is politicized, everything. Mask, no mask, vaccines, no vaccines, infrastructure, no infrastructure, supply chain. Yeah, now people are starting to see it, and it's about time, but, I'm getting to the point where, I'm just hoping the conflagration comes soon. Because the sooner it comes, the sooner we can move on. And the longer we wait, with all the damage we're doing, the conflagration is going to be that much worse. There's way more to heaven and earth than is in your philosophy, Horatio, because things are going on all over the planet. We're not the only country on this planet, even though we're destroying ourselves very well. And I think that some of our adversaries, and call them who you will, we don't even think about some of the old adversaries that are still out there doing whatever. We think about our adversaries, and we realize that, they're not going to do anything to us because we're special. Now, I could see 2 or 3 scenarios just off the top of my head. Terrorist attack, lone wolf or concerted effort, with the border being wide open. poison, sabotage, destroy infrastructure. We're doing that to ourselves. And viruses, which there's hundreds of them, hundreds. And there's a worse one to come after COVID has done its course. Case of chicken is $40 up to $170. That's over 400%. And I know a lot of restaurants rely on chicken because the beef is way too expensive. And the place where I work, the prices are bound to go up. And I could see hoarding happening already. And I think people are starting to wake up, but it's almost too late because no one's going to do a damn thing. Republicans ain't. Marjorie Taylor Greene, RGA, yeah. She at least said, yeah, this guy needs to be impeached, but nothing's going to happen because do you think these Democrats who run the Congress are going to do anything? No. They're insane. They're not human beings. Nadler, Schiff, Pelosi, Schumer, they're aliens, just like they're saying it on the news now that they might be aliens because they're acting so weird. So I'm not the only one. I know it sounds far-fetched, but they might be aliens. And if they're not, they're under a mind control kind of a system where they're just deliberately destroying not just what used to be the United States, but the whole world, because you watch what happens. And it's going too long. I wasted a lot of seconds there with some nonsense, but I can recapitulate some more. It will go on, and another disaster will be upon us soon. So have a good morning and enjoy. Bye.